My name is Clarissia. Welcome. I survived something that most people are too afraid to even talk about: psychosis, hallucinations, paranoia, confusion, toxic love, and a terrifying feeling of losing your grip of reality. This story is about science, healing, and coming back home to myself. I'm not here to glamorize mental illness. I'm here to speak about what really happens inside the brain and how I rebuilt mine with the help of neurofeedback therapy, medication, and the power of consciousness through Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. If you ever felt lost in your own mind, misunderstood, or like you were beyond saving, I promise you this story is for you. But let's start from the beginning. Before it all happened, I already knew about Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. I knew how thoughts can create reality, how our brain chemistry changes based on our emotional state. But at that time, I didn't truly grasp it. Not until everything around me broke. I saw people's faces that resembled a lot like the colleague workers I worked in the past in a different place. It was almost like people were placed around me on purpose. I felt like I was in a simulation. Soon, I couldn't remember simple instructions. I would forget to scan my key card in the right places. I would just walk around the building not knowing where I was supposed to go. I was constantly disorientated. Sleep became a stranger to me. I'd go 24 hours without rest. I would call up my sister 3 in the morning, rambling about nonsense. Emotionally and physically, I was shutting down. Then began the arguments with my ex. The relationship had already turned toxic, but at this point, he started accusing me of cheating. He would call me crazy. He would send me videos diagnosing me that I'm a narcissistic person, I'm manipulative. Meanwhile, I was spiraling into a full blown paranoia. I could feel myself slipping. I told my sister, Alex, I'm not myself anymore. I really wasn't. I wasn't cleaning. I wasn't eating. I wasn't enjoying life. I couldn't feel emotions. My nervous system was in a constant fight or flight mode. Afterwards, the hallucinations hit. I think it was 5 days that passed from my job and hallucinations started to kick in. This is where it gets hard to explain, but I will do my best. I saw signs everywhere, from the window moving curtains to random noises that I thought was messages. I would rip my nails off, not feel any pain. But one of the most terrifying moments was when I thought my aunt and my ex-boyfriend were plotting to put me into a mental institution. My aunt asked me if I would want to walk or take the car, and I chose to walk because at the time I thought that was the last time I was ever gonna see nature around me, so I might as well just take, you know, advantage of it. Clouds, they would look like a tornado sucking up birds. I believed in that split second that the world was ending. On the plane to Romania, I was hallucinating a man with a Bible, asking me if I was ready to tell him the truth. A girl singing songs about my dad. I thought every single person in the airport was plotted there to expose my secrets. On the way to my home city, I saw the driver who resembled God in my delusions, and I would see like lots of signs of home and churches like on both sides of the road. It was very confusing for me. And the worst part of it all, I believed it. I believed every hallucination experience I had because at that point, that was my reality. Now, the science behind psychosis, I can tell you that psychosis isn't just a mental health label. It's a complete disruption of your brain ability to distinguish between internal and external reality. Too much dopamine in certain areas can lead to hallucinations and delusions. My body was just stuck in survival mode. I couldn't rest, I couldn't think rationally, I couldn't process emotions. At this point, I wasn't just mentally unwell, my brain was physically overwhelmed. I will be forever grateful for the healing God provided me. I thank God for working through the hands of others, my family, my doctors. I'm thankful they took the decision to take me to neurofeedback therapy because it's a process where you learn to regulate your brain waves. When you are in trauma or psychosis, your brain is stuck in a high beta wave, alert, panicked, and chaotic. Neurofeedback helped train my brain to access more alpha and theta waves. This is the relaxed healing states. It was like learning to walk again, but mentally. I was also placed on antipsychotics, antidepressives, and mood stabilizers for a while. I resisted. I didn't believe I had psychosis. I thought everyone around me was crazy. They had no idea what was going on in my head. But slowly, I came back, rewiring my mind. Once I was stabilized, I went back to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, but this time I lived it. I learned that your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and a vivid, imagined one. That consistent meditation rewires the default mode network in your brain, the part that makes you dwell, self criticize, and blames yourself. I started meditating every morning, journaling, practicing gratitude, praying, moving my body gently, reconnecting to who I truly was. To anyone struggling, if you are in the dark right now, please know the light exists. Psychosis took me to the lowest depths of my fear, paranoia, shame, and confusion, but with support, science, and surrender, I healed. Today I'm not perfect, but I am self aware, I am peaceful, I am grounded, and I now know how to use my voice to help others. So if you ever felt broken, let this be your sign that you are not. You are just beginning to understand your power because healing is real. My story might sound wild because it is, but what's even wilder than that is how our brain can rewire itself, how the heart can reopen, and how we can come back stronger, softer, and wiser. So, thank you for holding space for my truth. I hope it sparks something in you, whether it's a cry, a laugh, or a simple courage to reach out. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for watching, and I would appreciate if you leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with whoever needs it. I'll be sharing my journey, science based helping tips, and real talk about mental health and energy. Thank you so much.